push it down like that. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing well, staying healthy and safe. Thank you all for tuning in. Today we're using the Tri-Temple YouTube site so everyone can hopefully join the service. If you are being contacted by Temple members who are trying to find the site, have them do a search on YouTube for Ascent Coast Tri-Temple. Because of the spike in COVID pandemic, we will be conducting services remotely and streaming to the Tri-Temple YouTube site until further notice. As of today, we are planning to have all services streamed so that from this YouTube site. Today we will be commemorating Bodhi Day, the day of Shakyamuni Buddha's enlightenment. We will also observe Watsonville Shotsuki Hoyo Memorial for December. Please open your butsudans, light a candle, and burn some incense as we begin today's service. I'd like to share with you now an opening reading. If you please join me in Gassho. The reason for the Tathagata's appearance in the world is solely to preach the ocean-like original vow of Amida. The ocean of multitudinous beings in the evil age with 5 defilements should believe in the Tathagata's true words. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Now I will begin the sutra chanting of the Sambujo on page 23, followed by a dedication reading, and then the Sambutsuge and Jusege on page 77 and 91. And during the Sambutsuge and Jusege, we'll be scrolling the names of members in Watsonville who are observing Shotsuki for the month of December. Namandavas, Namandavas, Namandavas. Punya Mina Anyonai Niuna Jo Today, on this occasion of the Watsonville Buddhist Temple December Shotsuki Hoyo and Bodhi Day service, the Sangha has reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of their family members. With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages. I go to the Buddha for guidance, I go to the Dharma for guidance, I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namu Kia Boots, Namu Kia Ho, Namu Kia So. 서츠머리안영영 공행기기 이진명어근여세엔며 머여도샤니치가츠마니 슈코엔여 가이시츠 온베 연약근여목근여라용엔 조세무린 성악나이연 거르제포 가이몬쇼진 산나이지에 이덕금으려 슈쇼게 우진다이센넨 쇼부츠호가이 그진진노 그공아이다이 음여여근의 세손여무 닌너시시진덕음으려 그근고다이 지혜진며 검여 있어 신도나이센 강가사부츠 사이쇼호 가도쇼지 미프게다츠 부세저 이가이는 쇼진 여세 산마이 지에 이저 오세 도그부츠 응여시간 이사이 그그 이사나이안 게시으부츠 야크센노그만 머리어나이쇼 슈녀어자 그여 이사이 시토쇼부츠 은여근어 겐쇼브약그 인여어자 쇼브세카이 무브가게 무슈스츠도 검여시쇼 hen시쇼거그 여세쇼진 이진난려 령아사부츠 거근어나이에지 어슈기며 너저저세츠 거근여나이연 니무도서 야또 아이멘 너나츠 이사이 예폴나이쇼 신네츠 쇼저 이동아고극 게라그 안농 거부 신묘 생아 신쇼 어즈간노히 니기쇼쇼역 지보세손 지에무게 열여시선 지가생여 계려신시 쇼근덕추 악여쇼진 닌주 It'll record in there on the chip, I hope. 망언 조생안 이심의전어 시간만석 세부저성악 나오므려거 의이나이세슈 의사이쇼빙그 세부저성악 나시저부스노 묘셔처제보 극염이셔몬 세부저성악 리역진셔넨 여외슈봉여 시금의전어 이셔텐닌시 진내기 엔다이고 의셔무사이노 쇼저상금여 고사이슈야근원 가히지행엔 메시건너안 에이소크쇼아크도 스다츠센슈몬 고소조만석 이여러제포 니치가츠슈주기 댕거 언프겐 이슈카이호소 고세크덕호 조온다이슈추 세포시시크 의여이사이붓 그석슈덕혼 난내시즈뇨만 덕이상가요 여부즈무게치 스나즈미부쇼 강가그에릭 도시사이쇼선 싱안야코카 나이센노 간도 공의쇼텐닌 독진묘계 남원다부 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 心安常安那古。Thank you very much, everyone. Now I'd like to ask you to please join me in the Gatha Nori no Miyama on page 224. Nori no Miyama no sakura bana mukashi no mama ni niyou nari michi no shiori no ato tomete satori no takane no haru o miyo nori no miyama no honto to gisu mukashi no mama ni nanoru nani ukiyo wa yume zo ni jikayo to 驚きさます声を聞け。Thank you. And now, if you please join me in the reading of the Threefold Refuge. And you'll find that on page 10 of the large purple service book. Difficult is it to receive a human form, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Dharma of the Buddha, now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, in what life shall we cross over? Let us with sincerity and true reverence take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we together with all sentient beings awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of Amida Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we together with all sentient beings enter the storehouse of the Dharma, becoming like the wisdom ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we together with all sentient beings become units in true accord, in harmony with all things. The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter, even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teachings. Sankhya-mon, Ninjin ukegatashi ima sudani yuku, Buppo kikigatashi ima sudani kiku, Kono mikonjo ni mukate dose zumba, Sarani izure no sho ni mukate ka kono miyo dosen, Daishu morotomo ni shishin ni sambo ni kieshi tatematsuru beshi. Mizukara butsu ni kieshi tatematsuru, Masani nega waku wa shujo to tomo ni, Daido wo taige shite mujo yo kosan, Mizukara ho ni kieshi tatematsuru, Masani nega waku wa shujo to tomo ni, Fukaku kyozo ni irite chie umi no gotoku unran, Mizukara so ni kieshi tatematsuru, Masani nega waku wa shujo to tomo ni, Daishu wo tori shite issai mugen naran, Mujo jinjin mimyo no ho wa, 100,000万語にもあよことかたし、俺今検問寺従事することを得たり、願わくは狙いの真実義を下したって祭らん。何万ダブス、何万ダブス、何万ダブス、何万ダブス。Once again, thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. As I mentioned, today we're observing Bodhi Day and the December Shotsuki Hoyo for the Temple of Watsonville. First of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about Bodhi Day. On December 8th, at the age of 35, Siddhartha Gautama reached enlightenment. And from that day forward, he was known as the Buddha. Now, what does it mean to attain enlightenment? It means Siddhartha became a Buddha. And the word Buddha literally means awake or awakened one. So Siddhartha was one who has awakened. And this is the original meaning and the spirit behind the word Buddha. And from this original meaning stems the whole character and the whole personality of Buddha's teachings. Have you ever had that experience when you're in school or maybe you're at work where someone might say to you, "Are you sleeping? Are you awake?" As a student, I have to admit that there were times when I fell asleep. But I perfected a way of sitting up with my pen in my hand, with my head slightly lowered, and I would fall asleep. One of my teachers, he complimented me by saying, "Jay sleeps with respect." When we've had live services, I would sometimes see people sitting in the hondo, dozing off during our services. Now in Watsonville now, we have cut-out figures of members sitting in the pews. This is great because this is one way of having services, and everyone is smiling, everyone is staying awake. Anyway, the word or title of Buddha is one who has awakened, as opposed to sleeping or not being awake. Again, this is the primary focus in Buddhism. It is our goal as Buddhists to awake, to become awakened. Most of us think that we're awake, when in reality, we're half asleep or half awake, figuratively speaking. We live our lives as if we're half asleep, half awake. We take things for granted, and we suffer greed, anger, and ignorance. And it is the intent of the Buddha to awaken us to this reality, to this fact. The Buddha is often likened to a parent who is shaking us out of a bad dream. Not too long ago, I had a dream that I had to swim across a large bay. I could clearly see in my dream the other shore where I had to go, and I began swimming. What I didn't realize is that while in bed, I was kicking furiously as I swam across the bay in my dream. Of course, this woke Jane up. She tried to wake me up, but I continued kicking and swimming across the bay. I seemed awake, but I continued to swim. In the same way, the Buddha's great compassion shakes us from a dream or a bad experience. The Buddha is one who has awakened and whose teachings are to awaken others. Buddhism is not a religion of believing. It is a religion of awakening. We must be careful that we don't just believe blindly, but we must understand for ourselves. This is awakening. And as part of that is to understand or awaken to the fact that we have services such as this, not to worship ancestors, not to practice filial piety, but an affirmation of our relationship to all living beings. Shinran Shonin said, I, Shinran, for the sake of filial piety towards my parents, have never even once uttered the Nembutsu. The reason is that all sentient beings in some birth or life have been my parents or my brothers, and I would add in here, my sisters. We can save all of them when we become Buddhas in the next life. I recently had the opportunity to visit a dear friend whose daughter is about 3 years old. Because of COVID, I haven't seen her in person for a long time, and I was surprised to see how big she had gotten. Children grow up so quickly. I thought about her. As I watched her playing, I felt a bit sad that she at some point one day, like all of us, will ponder what we adults think about as we get older. Old age, sickness, and death. But then I also began to think how the millions and millions of people around the world, I have this wonderful relationship with a 3-year-old girl. Have you ever thought about this? Of millions and millions of people in the world, we have relationships with our husbands, our wives, our parents, our children, our friends, our Sangha. It is truly miraculous that we have come together to meet in this life that is unrepeatable. For Shinran, he realized that such an occurrence is so very rare that he was truly grateful and in awe of his life and relationships. So in this quote that I read to you, he is saying two very important things. One, he is denying the practice of ancestor worship or memorial services as an act of filial piety. Two, he's affirming our interdependence with all living things and says we can save all of them when we become Buddhas in the next life. Shinran adamantly denies the practice of saying Nembutsu as an expression of filial piety, but rather he is emphasizing why and when we say the Nembutsu. Now, I truly believe that Shinran, in contemplating his interdependence with all sentient beings, he realized what a rare occurrence it is to meet parents, wives, husbands, children, friends, teachers, all people that we meet in life. For such a rarity, he, Shinran, is truly grateful, and he says the Nembutsu. And that is the purpose for any memorial service or any service that we have. So for us, if we can awaken to the same joy and gratitude as Shinran, then we should be able to look around at everyone, everywhere, and feel those connections. On this occasion of Bodhi Day and December Shotsuki Hoyo, we must be mindful in awe and in gratitude for all those connections. And now I'd like to share with you the reading of the Gobunsho. Namandabas. 聖人一流のご関係の趣は、真珠のもって本当すられそう。そのゆえは、もろもろの造業を投げ捨てて、一心に皆に奇妙すれば、不可思議の眼力として、文の方より往生は事情せしめたも、そのくらいよ。一年法期入賞上始終とも釈し、その上の称名念仏、如来我が往生を定めたまいし、御法人の念仏と心べきなり、あなかしこ、あなかしこ。Shinran Shonin taught that the essence of Jodo Shinshu is Shinjin. The reason is that by abandoning all of the practices and completely entrusting ourselves in Amida Buddha, our spiritual rebirth is assured by Amida through the inconceivable power of the primal vow. This is known as entering the ranks of the truly assured at the very moment of Shinjin. Thereafter, all utterances of the Nembutsu should be understood only as expressions of gratitude for Amida's assurance of our spiritual rebirth. With reverence, I remain. Nammandavas, Nammandavas, Nammandavas. Okay, and now before we close, I want to make a couple of announcements. I want to show you something here, if I could. There we go. Okay, December 8th, 10 o'clock, I'll be participating in a Santa Cruz Public Library program called Shelter and Faith Holidays Edition, another installment of the webinar series specifically designed to provide perspectives, practices, and help with navigating stresses of the holiday season. And this is being sponsored by the Santa Cruz Public Library. If you go to their website, you can register for that December 8th, 10 o'clock via Zoom. Also, that same day at 7 o'clock, Salinas will be observing their Salinas board meeting. Next week, December 13th, Monterey Shotsuki Hoyo and Bodhi Day on this same station, hopefully. And the week after that, on the 20th, we'll celebrate Salinas's Bodhi Day and Shotsuki Hoyo. Now, let's see here. I want to show you this. I hope we can I get it to a larger screen here. Why is it so small? Oh, there we go. Oh, this one. Sorry, hold on. There we go. Okay, this is our virtual Sangha in Watsonville. Now, with the restrictions, we haven't been able to have Sunday services in person, but until then, you can have your image represented in our temple virtually. This is how you join the virtual Sangha. Submit a color photo by email, text, or drop it off at the temple office. And you can even send a picture of a loved one who is no longer with us. Suggested donation for the cutouts are $50 for adults, $35 for children 12 and under, $35 for seniors 80 and over. And proceeds of this fundraiser will go towards the Buddhist Education Fund. An order form is in the current Ichimi newsletter. And if you have questions, please contact the office. Help us fill up our hondo with our virtual Sangha. Okay. Now, we want to share with you the bingo numbers for this week. First number, B6. Second number, I17. Third number, N 43. Fourth number, O73. And the fifth number, G53. Good luck, everyone. If you do get bingo, please contact the temple office. And now we'll close with the Gatha Ondoksan on page 220. And let's see, this is song number 1, I think. No, number 2. Yonai nahi no honnoku wa miyoko ni shite mo ozumeshi shishu chishiki no If the single thought of joy is awakened in one's mind, though passions are not severed, one will attain nirvana. When ordinary men, sages, grave sinners, and abusers of the Dharma are all converted, they are like various waters turned into one taste on entering the sea. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much, everyone. This will conclude our services today. And thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week for Monterey's Shotsuki Hoyo and Bodhi Day service. Thank you. It won't connect, huh? I hope it worked. How many times did it? Why'd you turn it off?